Welcome back to the Neuro Finance Masterclass. So, yesterday in day 84, we talked all about how the wealthy leverage good debt to just radically accelerate their empire building, right?
Right, but here's the ultimate reality check. Before any bank or financial institution is going to just hand over their capital, they're asking one very critical question. Who are you and can we actually trust you? So today, for day 85, we're figuring out how to master the banking algorithm to answer that exact question.
Let's look at the blueprint for today's explainer. We're covering 1. The financial GPA, 2. The no history trap, 3. Decoding the score algorithm, 4. The surgical credit tool, and finally, number 5. The architect audit.
Okay, let's dive right into part 1, the financial GPA. You know, in our modern financial grid, institutions literally do not care about your firm handshake. They don't care about your good intentions or your verbal promises to pay them back.
It really doesn't matter how honest you feel you are.
Exactly. The whole system runs on one thing, and that's data. Your entire financial reputation is condensed down into a single 3-digit number, which is your credit score. It's basically your financial GPA. It dictates exactly how much trust these institutions will place in you, and because of that, the exact amount of leverage you're going to have access to.
Which brings us to part 2, the no history trap. Now, there is a massive, honestly dangerous misconception out there. The amateur mindset looks at this and thinks, well, I never borrow money, I never use credit cards, I pay for absolutely everything in cash, so my financial reputation must be completely flawless, right?
Right. But to a banking algorithm, 0 data points is terrifying. It's incredibly risky. If you've never used credit, the system literally cannot evaluate your neuro fitness under pressure. They have absolutely no idea how you're going to behave when you actually owe them money. So having no credit history can paralyze your wealth building just as fast as having a bad one.
And this leads us to a core truth for today. An architect does not avoid the credit game. They learn the rules to play it perfectly.
Exactly. You don't get a medal for hiding from the financial system out of fear. You build wealth by engaging strategically. You learn the exact rules of the grid, and you play it perfectly to your advantage.
So let's crack open that machine in part 3, decoding the score algorithm.
Look, the algorithm isn't magic, right? It's a predictable machine built on clear mathematical rules. And it really comes down to 3 main pillars. Number 1 is your payment history, which is the absolute foundation. Flawless discipline here is completely mandatory.
Oh, absolutely mandatory. Did you know that a single late payment, literally even by just 1 day, flashes a massive red light in the system? You just have to be perfect here. Then we've got the credit utilization rate. And finally, credit age. Let's actually dig into that second one for a second, because that's where most people accidentally sabotage their whole score.
Right. So the golden rule of the architect here is 30%. That's your credit utilization rate. It's just the ratio of how much credit you're currently using versus your total available limit. So let's say your credit limit is $10,000 and you constantly carry a $9,000 balance. Even if you're making those minimum payments on time every single month, the system looks at that 90% utilization and thinks, wow, they are desperate. You look stretched way too thin. So to optimize your score and signal complete financial control, you've got to keep your utilization below 30% at all times.
And then the final pillar is credit age. It's super simple but highly effective. The longer your accounts have been open, and obviously the cleaner they are, the more stable you look to the banking algorithm.
And this is such a huge mistake people make. They'll pay off an old credit card and then immediately close the account just because they aren't using it every day. Do not do that. Closing those old accounts just wipes out your history. Keep them open, keep them clean, and let that history work as a deep anchor of stability for your overall financial GPA.
Let's move on to part 4, the surgical credit tool.
You know, amateurs look at a credit card and they immediately think of it as a shopping ticket. They just see a way to buy liabilities, clothes, vacations, gadgets, things they don't actually have the cash for today.
Totally.
But an architect views it as a surgical tool, specifically designed to build algorithmic trust. As an architect, you're only swiping that card to pay for things you already have the cash sitting in the bank for.
Just think about the brilliant logic of this surgical approach. When you buy things you already have the cash for, and then you pay that balance in full every single month before the interest kicks in, you're effectively borrowing the bank's money for free for 30 days.
I absolutely love that concept. You never pay a single cent in interest, but at the exact same time, you are constantly sending these positive, disciplined data signals to the banking algorithm month after month. You're basically building an absolute fortress of trust.
All right, which brings us to our final step, part 5, the architect audit. It is time to put this knowledge into practice with your cognitive task for the day. First, you need to actually request your credit report from your local financial bureau. So if you're in the US, check your FICO score. If you're in Turkey, pull your Findex report. Second, comb through it. You were looking for any errors or forgotten old debts that are artificially dragging your score down. Honestly, you'd be shocked by how common reporting errors actually are. Finally, optimize your payment automation. Go set up your systems, your auto pays, and your calendar reminders right now so that you never, ever miss a payment deadline again.
Now, why go through all this effort? Well, it all goes back to day 84. You don't build an elite credit score just so you can get a higher limit to buy a bigger TV. You build it so that you hold a master key.
Exactly. When that perfect market opportunity actually arrives, a real estate deal, a massive business acquisition, whatever it is, an elite credit score is exactly what unlocks the capital and the good debt required to actually seize it.
This algorithmic trust system is running in the background of your life whether you participate actively or not. So, are you going to let it dictate your financial limits, or will you master it to build your empire?
The choice is entirely yours. Take action on your architect audit today.
And we'll see you in the next step of the masterclass.